everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I wanted to share my labor and delivery story time. I know some of you were following my pregnancy journey throughout social media. I didn't really get to post as much as I wanted to because it was just so much going on with the pandemic and just like a lot going on, which I'll talk about in another video. But I was excited to find out that a lot of you were also pregnant and due around the same time that I was due, or I even spoke to some of you that are due later on this year. So I thought it'd be a great idea to come and share my labor and delivery, I guess, footage and story time, because giving birth during COVID-19 is just a little different. So my heart goes out to those of you who are not able to have anyone in the delivery room with you. Giving birth is definitely an experience. No matter how many times you do it, each experience is very different. I was blessed enough to be able to have my husband right there by my side in the delivery room, but my baby boy did come a little bit earlier than expected. I actually had a scheduled C-section and it was going to be on a Monday, and my little boy decided that he wanted to come Thursday right before the C-section. So yeah, I panicked and it all happened really fast. Before we get into the video, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and stick around for a while. I make a lot of great content that related to motherhood and girly topics. We cook over here, we do hair and makeup, and just a lot of, we manifest, we do a lot of great things over here on my channel. So we really just manifest the life that we love over here, okay? So if that sounds like a good idea to you, then stick around for a while, hit the subscribe button before you leave today, and if you like content like this, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up so that I know to make more content like this. At the end of this video, I want to introduce you guys to the newest member of my family. So I actually had a scheduled C-section for a Monday, and I had a feeling that my son was going to choose to come whenever the heck he felt like it. So I usually went in for my prenatal appointments on Tuesdays, and this particular week I went in for a Wednesday. The craziest thing is that I didn't even think that I had an appointment that week. I knew that I had to go in on Friday for coronavirus testing, and then I also wanted to run like labs and everything for pre-op. Yeah, that was going to be on a Friday. So on Wednesday, no, my last doctor's appointment, because after 35 weeks you go every single week, my last doctor's appointment, the week before that, my doctor, she said, oh, do you have an appointment scheduled with me for next week? I said, oh no, because I have my pre-op testing, I didn't think I needed to come in. She said, no, well, that's it's still gonna be more than a week since the last time I saw you, so I want to schedule an appointment. I want to have you come in. I said, okay, fine. So my normal appointment slot she didn't have available. She was like, okay, come in on Wednesday. I said, okay. So I went in on Wednesday and everything was normal. I think I took some pictures and I was just like, oh, this is the last time I'm gonna have a doctor's appointment pregnant. And so I went home, and during the whole week I was nesting because I knew that our parents were scheduled to come in on Sunday, and I wanted to make sure that I had the house decorated because we moved literally like 6-7 months ago, and I've been pregnant the whole entire journey. This whole entire year I've been pregnant, so I haven't had a chance to really finish decorating my house. I was putting the final touches together for the home, and there were still some things that I wanted to get done before our parents got here, like some curtains up in the dining room, which you guys will see in another video, curtains up in our bedroom, the baby's room. It was just a lot of stuff that I still needed to get done. So I had my husband put up curtains, and I'm talking to him, and we're trying to figure out where the curtains go. This is the same night where how far off the ground we wanted the curtains, and I was talking to my father-in-law, and we're on FaceTime, and all of a sudden I felt something ooze out of me, and I think I just stopped talking and I said, uh-oh. My husband looked at me, he said, uh-oh, what? What's uh-oh? I said, I don't know, I need to go to the bathroom really quick. He said, okay. So I gave him the phone, and my father-in-law was like, what happened? What's going on over there? So I went to the bathroom, and this is completely TMI, but I'm gonna insert it anyway. But this is what came out. So I sent this picture to my mom. It was like really thick, mucusy, like snot, but it was like a orange yellowish color. Like it I don't know, it was a weird color. And so I was like, is this my mucus plug? So I called my mom. I sent the picture to my mom, and I said, is that my mucus plug? And she said, I think you need to contact your doctor. She said, I think so. That baby's coming tonight. You need to contact the doctor. I said, okay. So I called my doctor. The answering service answered, and I said, I think my mucus plug just came out. You know, I was showing my husband, and he didn't know what was going on. So he's just like, call the doctor. So I called the doctor, and they're like, well, let us know if your contractions are less than, I think that was it, 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes apart. I said, okay. So that night, I was also doing my daughter's hair. Yeah, the impending C-section. So I put Marley twist in her hair, and I only had like 1 quadrant done. And I also sent the picture to my best friend, and I was talking to her, and she calls me and she goes, you're in labor? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think, you know, he can come like at any time, but it's probably not gonna come anytime soon. So she's like, okay. She's like, well, are you having contractions? And I was like, I don't think so, because I started to feel like a dull ache in like my lower, I don't know, it felt like cramps. Like, you know how it feels when you have like menstrual cramps? That's what it kind of felt like to me, but it was very dull. So I said, okay. And then I was thinking, like, you know what? I really don't remember what it felt like to be in labor last time, because I think my water just broke, and then I went to the hospital. Yeah, I think my water broke, and then I went to the hospital, and then I was in labor for like longer than a day when I had one. But this time, I'm like, okay. So I was trying to finish as much as I could of my daughter's hair. So I finished the back. I think I did 1 quadrant, and then I did half of another quadrant. At that point, it was like maybe 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I was so tired. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna finish this tomorrow morning. So let her go to bed. I noticed that I just kept oozing, like stuff just kept oozing out of me, and I'm just like, why? Like, how big is this mucus plug? Like, what the heck? And then I was like, well, it can't be my water breaking, because I think that would be like 1 rush of water and that's it. So, you know, I'm like, whatever. So one of my friends suggested, like, oh, you should put on a pad so you can kind of keep track of how much fluid you lose. I said, okay, that makes sense. So I put on a pad, went to sleep, woke up around maybe like 5:30, like 5:30 a.m. I went to the bathroom, and I was still gushing out liquid. So I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. And so I woke my husband up. No, he woke up. He was just like, are you okay? I said, I don't know, like the liquid is still coming out. I don't know if this is still the mucus plug, or I don't know what's going on. But he said, okay, call the doctor again. Call the doctor again. She said the same thing. Okay, let me know. Well, this is the doctor's answering service. So this lady is saying the same thing. Okay, well, when it gets to be more than, you know, 5 minutes apart or less than 5 minutes apart, give us a call back or head over to the hospital. I said, okay. I got up. I still had laundry to fold. Okay, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I called my best friend. My husband went to work, and my daughter was still sleeping. So I'm like folding laundry. My best friend's like, well, are you having contractions? And I'm like, I think so, you know, I think so, but I don't really know. Like, I'm gonna insert some of the clips. And then, okay, around like 7 a.m. those things started to get really intense. Like really intense, to the point where it was feeling like somebody was running a truck into me. Like the worst cramps you ever felt in your life, and it was happening like every 3 to 2 minutes, like literally minutes apart. It was horrible. My husband was at work. I knew he was gonna be coming home fairly soon. I think he was coming home around like 9. So I was like, I'm gonna just wait till he gets home, like, cause I have to finish London's hair too. So I folded clothes, and then when London got up, like, it's like they got more intense. And then I went and I tried to finish her hair, and when I think my best friend, she noticed that they were speeding up, and she was timing them. They were literally like 2 minutes apart. So I think she hung up with me. She called him and told him, like, you need to go home because your wife is in labor. And she's trying to do, you know, your daughter's here right now, like, just, you gotta get home. So okay, he came home, everything was already packed. We had the contingency in place for daughter, and we just wanted to make sure that she was taken care of. He made the decision that we were gonna go to the hospital, because I would have tried my best to hold that baby. While I was finishing her hair, I literally got like halfway through her hair, and I had to do like a bun at the top and a bun at the back. I was like, oh my god. Her bag was packed, and we just headed out to the hospital. We got to the hospital, we waited for the person that was coming to pick daughter up, and you know, I was inside the hospital, and as I was checking into the hospital, the nurse buzzes up a nurse to come down and get me, and she goes, yeah, she said, well, someone needs to come get her now because her contractions have been less than every 2 minutes since she's walked in the door. So I'm like, oh gosh. But yeah, it was very intense. So when I went, they checked me in, had me change, and I do have footage from that point. They took me into a room and they did all the testing. I remember them doing a swab of my vaginal area because they wanted to know what kind of liquid it was. From what I thought it was, based off of Google University, was amniotic fluid, but it had meconium in it, which honestly was something that, from what I understand, is really potentially dangerous to the baby. So it was good that I did get to the hospital when I did. So they went ahead and they swabbed my cervix or whatever and found out that it was amniotic fluid that I was leaking. Luckily, when I came in, my doctor was actually going away Thursday through Sunday, which is why she had scheduled me for that Monday. And she had just finished delivering a baby, so she happened to be at the hospital still. Now, I was very adamant about my doctor. You guys will see my doctor in another vlog, but my doctor looks like me, and that was really important to me because of some of the statistics that we're hearing nowadays. Definitely can make being a woman of color expecting pretty nervous. So me obviously moving to a new area, I wanted to make sure that I felt 100% comfortable with the person that was going to be delivering my baby, and that if I had any issues, that they were going to be taken seriously. So my doctor, I was very, very happy that being that I was going to be having a major abdominal surgery, that she was going to be the one that was going to do it for me. I trusted her 100%, and I'm very happy that I was taken care of by my physician. And my OB, she was there. She came in and she said, I just saw you yesterday. And she had just literally told me, like, okay, don't go into labor this weekend. And then I go into labor literally the night that I went home from her appointment. So she was like, okay, we'll go ahead and we'll bump someone else's C-section. We'll have to deliver the baby today. Come to find out, I was dilated 3 centimeters, and his head was right down there, like he was ready to come out. So they were like, luckily I got there when I did, because he would have been on the floor. I would have had him at the house. So they had the anesthesiologist come in, give me the spinal tap. And when the lady first tried to put the IV in my hand, she put it in the wrong vein and made my vein swell up, and it hurt so bad. But another lady came in and put the IV in a different hand, and it was perfect. So I'm gonna give 1 star for the IV. They had my husband change into just like protective uniform. They went ahead and tested me for COVID. They went ahead and just, I guess, ran a bunch of tests on me, a bunch of random blood tests and everything. So they gave you the IV, they drew blood, they did a bunch of stuff. the anesthesiologist came in and talked to me about what he was gonna do. Then they wheeled me down to the surgery room. They put me on the surgery table, and then I got the spinal tap. Every single person, every nurse and every doctor in that OR was amazing and just really nice and sweet, and they made me feel really comfortable. And I'm grateful for the team that I had in there delivering my baby, because I felt so comfortable in there. So I remember itching a little bit when I was under the spinal tap. That was one of the more negative things about the delivery, was the side effects from that. It really dried my skin out, like really bad, and I'll show you guys a little clip of that a little later. But yeah, it dried my skin out really bad. So they went ahead and they cleaned me up, I think, first, and then they brought my husband in. He was there for the entire delivery. He was able to catch footage of the baby on camera when he came out, and he was just the cutest little boy that I've ever seen. So that was really nice. They went ahead and I think they did staples, dissolvable staples, and like a liquid stitch, which also is dissolvable. I was kind of nervous going into this delivery because I didn't know what to expect. The last time I did have a C-section with daughter, but it was an unplanned C-section. I had completely planned to have her vaginally, but I was in labor for so long with her, and I had to have an emergency C-section because she didn't have any fluid. I only dilated to like 5 centimeters, and I was in labor for so long, so I didn't even want to chance it with him, being that I knew that that was like a potential like risk that I was taking. I was like, well, let me just go ahead and plan a C-section, you know. But walking into the C-section, I was a little bit nervous because I just felt like last time I was just super drugged up, so I don't really remember it. Like I had Pitocin and, you know, epidural, everything last time, but this time I was just going straight into it, like straight for the C-section. So I didn't know how long it was going to take. I didn't know any of that, but I knew that the baby had to come out, so so I had to get over it. But I will say that the C-section itself is not painful. You don't feel anything from like my stomach down. Like to my waist, I felt a little bit of pressure when they were like pulling him out and tugging him out, but other than that, I felt absolutely nothing at all. Even the spinal tap felt like a bee sting. It didn't really hurt that bad. I would say, like, just to any needle and anything like that, I was just thinking like it could be worse. It could be worse. Like it could be worse. It could be so much worse. It could be worse. I could not have any anesthesia and be, you know, cut open, so it could be worse. So after they stapled me back up and, you know, put my organs back in place, I guess, they went ahead and they took us up to our room. Now, normally you would go into recovery because that's where I went last time, but because of COVID, there's no recovery. You recover in your room, and they come and they do everything in there with the baby and everything. So they took us up to the room. The baby was already there, and they brought him over so he could eat. They had a lactation specialist come in and talk to me about breastfeeding and just to check his latch to make sure he was doing really good, or to make sure that he was doing good. But he was doing really good. He came out, I mean, both my kids, they knew how to eat. But they latched really well. London, I remember she had a really good latch, and he, you know, he does too. So recovery, I mean, obviously I'm still recovering, but the latter, the more intense part of the recovery is obviously right after the surgery. So my son was born at 11:25 a.m. Within the hour, I was in my room relaxing, and they were getting ready to have us order lunch. So within like the next like 5 hours or so, they had me get up and try to walk. It was very tough to try to walk at first, and then with me coming off the medicine and everything like that, I was like nauseous, I was throwing up. It was, you know, it was hard to feel my legs, stuff like that. Of course, your uterus is having to shrink back to its original size. So I was bleeding very heavily. I had a catheter in because with the spinal tap, it actually kind of like deactivated my urinary tract, or wherever, you know, with urethra, it deactivated that or something, because I couldn't pee on my own. Like, I don't think anybody can pee on their own. And they just had me walk around the room and come back and sit down. The nurses, God bless the nurses, because they had to like you literally have to wear pretty much a pamper when you come out of having a baby, and the nurses are the ones that are in there like changing you and literally like changing your pad, like wrapping it up, giving you a fresh one, pulling you up, like getting you together, pushing out the incision to see if there's any discharge that's gonna come out, like making sure that your blood is not clotting. And that, I was just like, you know, I got them gifts, because I was just like, you know what, intense list of responsibilities. And I think that some of them got to know me a little bit better than they may have ever wanted to know me. But but I am thankful to have such nice and generous women that were there to kind of help me recover from this. I was taking Tylenol and ibuprofen every 6 to 8 hours for the pain, incision pain. So I didn't really feel much pain for the first 2 days, because I was definitely on those medicines around the clock consistently, so that I didn't feel pain. I started feeling pain maybe like the last 2 days, getting ready to go home. Like my incision would burn, and I realized now that that was the pain that I was avoiding by taking the ibuprofen and the Tylenol. So when I came home, I definitely made sure that I stayed on top of those for a couple of days, following the time frames that they have on the bottle, because that would really help if you're trying to avoid, you know, even having pain in the first place. So I did that. My baby got circumcised during that time, and circumcision looks like hell. Like, I don't understand. The doctor that did his circumcision was very dry and I gave him 1 star. Okay, he didn't even come back to see how he was after like nothing. So because my son's pediatrician wasn't there, so they had a pediatrician that was there on call that did it for us, which I wish now that I know better I had waited, because I feel like his pediatrician would have took better care of him, unlike the guy that actually did it. But anyway, they did the circumcision, everything was bleeding. Like, I'd never even been that up close and personal with that type of body part before. I don't know what things feel like, and I just felt so bad. So I was like, okay, you know, learning how to navigate around body parts that I've never had to wipe before. That was interesting. Of course, within like the first 2 days, my nipples got extremely raw from the nursing, because they do have to toughen up again, so my skin kind of came off of them. So that was really it. The next day after the surgery and everything, they took the catheter out and they wanted me to like use the bathroom on my own. I tried, and you guys, it didn't work. Like, I had forgot how to pee on my own. So they had to put the catheter back in and like empty my bladder, and then from there I like kind of had to start over. So I was just like eating ice, drinking water all around the clock just to try to pee. I finally peed. It does hurt to pee, like for the first week or so, and then they were giving me like stool softeners too, because I guess it's important that you poop. So I didn't poop until I came home. And then also I ended up having gas in the hospital, but trapped gas. So it manifested as like pain up here, and I was just hoping like, oh my God, like what's going on? Like, it's so painful, what's happening? Like, it's my chest, or what the heck, you know, just thinking anything. And it was just gas. So they gave me like a gas relief pill, and it worked. It worked and relieved everything. So when we got discharged, we came home, our family was here, so we had a nice warm welcome when we got home, and my house was clean when I got home. I was so happy about that. My kitchen was clean, my room was clean, my clothes were folded, and I came home and tried my best to sit down I couldn't do it, but yeah, so I'm still recovering. This is week 3, so yeah, there's still things that I'm not supposed to be doing right now, like working out, lifting things that are like heavier than the baby, stuff like that. But as of this point in time, I feel a lot better than I did the first day after the surgery. So I wanted to introduce you guys, because you guys are like my family here on YouTube. I wanted to introduce you guys personally to my new baby. Let me go get him. I'll be right back. This is my prince, Cairo James. This is the newest addition to my family. His name is Prince Cairo James. Okay, legally not the prince part, but his name is CJ. His hobbies include drinking mother's milk, sleeping, peeing, pooping, more sleeping, eating, fussing at mommy, and stretching. Okay, so I think Cairo wants to eat right now, and I don't think he's gonna let me talk my way out of it, so let me go and get him situated, you guys. My daughter is really excited about being a big sister. She's so helpful. She likes to help change him. She'll, like she says, she calls herself the baby whisperer. So anytime he cries, she's like running out to him to figure out what's wrong with him, and she's usually right. She's like, he needs to be changed, he's hungry, feed it, you know. But she loves to like hang out and spend time and just love on her little brother, and I'm so grateful for that. My husband is a really great dad, especially of this little newborn. I already knew he had the amazing potential to be a great dad, but with this newborn, he is learning everything so quickly, and he's just very patient and understanding, and he's been a great dad. So yeah, I look forward to sharing more about this new addition with you guys soon, but right now I need to go and finish feeding him because it's time for him to get ready for bed. We're trying to get on a schedule. Talk more about that in another video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.